Right, it is time to talk about Kylian Mbappe. It's been the conversation for the last few days. And let's start straight away with this Julien Laurent tweet that he said, confirmed Kylian Mbappe wants to leave PSG in January. He feels betrayed by the club and has had enough. This comes on the back of this now deleted Instagram post, which apparently was from him, where he, let's get that up, where he spoke about pivot gang and he didn't like the position that he was playing in. I know that you're not happy with someone, a footballer, putting that kind of message out about the game and the performance, are you?
No, I think Paris Saint-Germain would be disappointed in that. As a teammate, you'd be disappointed in that because you know the reaction that's going to bring in the spotlight and the negativity that will surround the club. So obviously he's disgruntled, he's not happy about something. What we're hearing is the position that he's been asked to play, he doesn't want to play there. Listen, I think Wayne Rooney I played with, he was a generational talent, go down as he's one of the best players we've ever seen in England. Some games he was asked to play left wing, hated it, didn't want to do it. But you'd never know he didn't enjoy it and didn't want to play there because he just sacrificed parts of his game for his teammates. And you have to do that. You have to be able to say, you know, look at the bigger picture. Yes, I'm not happy here, but I'll give it a go and I'll do it for a period of time. Listen, if it's going to last ages and it's going to be a season or 2 seasons, I'll get it. But for games here and there, by the way, Kylian's playing on the same team, waking up every morning, going to training and going on the same pitch as Neymar and Messi as well. Like, now, if we were sitting there at home and you're saying, give me a dream case scenario, I'd love to play with 2 great players and world superstars, you'd want that, surely. Yeah. And I just find it hard to believe that he's going to be moaning about it. And it's weird because when I saw this story break, I met him last season and he seemed such a humble and chilled out, calm, cool, collected guy. This narrative and this persona that I'm seeing thrown out there, whether it's true or not, we don't know, makes me, it's not what I saw, not who I met at all. So what we spoke about earlier, I'd love to see him now come out and go, yeah, this is me, and own it. Or come out and go, do you know what, guys, I don't know where this story's come from, but I'm fully committed to my club. And I think it needs that, this story's that big that it needs that clarity put around it now.
It does need clarity, because one of the things I hate about this is that actually we're talking about something which is social media, rumour, people putting stuff out there. Like, until you hear from the player himself, like, I want to know how dangerous is it that we're getting into the realms where players have such power and are paid so well and are put so central to a team that they can do all this. But then I almost hate having this conversation because I'm like, well, how do we know that this is actually what's happening? Yeah. Well, and there's nothing worse than being misrepresented. Yeah, but we're in a time, an era where if you're misrepresented, you can come. He could have come out 2 hours ago and with a statement, we should have put this all to bed. We wouldn't even be having this conversation. So there's obviously some kind of part of it that's true because you're not denying it. I know you can't spend your life denying stories, but when it's this story and it's this big, you should be. But I think PSG and the people doing the deals and the business around that club have a lot to say for this. You can't promise a player. From what we understand, he wanted to have a centre forward bought for him. He wanted to play off the left. And he wanted another centre-half. You can't promise that. Like, you can't promise. You can say to him, we're going to try and bring the right player in for the right money at the right time. You can't just start sort of giving the players that kind. You can't lie like that, you know. But also, a player doesn't see the whole picture of a football club. They don't know the financial implications.
Fabrizio Romano is a very kind of trusted guy in the industry when the story's breaking as well, and he's got a quote from PSG director Louis Campos. Mbappe has never told me about his intention to leave in January. We speak with him, Messi and Neymar. We're very happy to be here. Yeah. So that's balancing the argument a little bit. But that's what I mean. We're standing here, we're debating this. We're not.
We're just in a world where everybody wants to be the first person to put it on Twitter that they know something that.
But one thing I would say, Jake, as well, is that when these stories come about now, we've got these platforms here. You've got to use them to suit yourself. Yeah. And I think if Mbappe doesn't come out and speak about this and put it right, if he hasn't said this and he doesn't come out and say nothing, a part of me thinks that he doesn't mind it being out there because there is a part of him that wants to leave at some point. So I just feel if this isn't true, he needs to come out and own this situation and go, listen, don't know where this has come from. I'm committed. Let's go.
Well, Sam Billings, one of England's finest cricketers, has sent you a message, Rio, saying, just get it done. Agent Rio, it has to happen. So if we're talking about something...
Tell Sam now. That ain't happening. Go to bed, Sam.
Don't panic. Don't panic. So that's the question, really, is if something changes, what changes? So Ryan's got in touch and asked us, do you believe Mbappe will want the same as Haaland and challenge himself in the Premier League before an eventual move to Real Madrid? And then Adam asks, where do you think he could fit into a team and their style of play? So let's imagine something changes in his world. Where do you see him going? What do you see him doing? How do you see him fitting into another team?
Well, before he signed the deal at Paris Saint-Germain, everyone was talking about Real Madrid and stuff. He said that I think it was Real Madrid and City who were talking about taking him, but they weren't the only clubs. He spoke to Klopp as well. So you'd throw Liverpool in the equation. Probably before this season, you would have said they had a really, really strong chance of getting him. Where they are now, you wouldn't be sure. I think they're being for him. I think all the big clubs are being for him. I think he wants to go to Real Madrid. Whether he's burnt that bridge with what happened in the summer, I don't know. But I think his first choice for me would be to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be a handful of 6 or 7 clubs. You have to be genuine chance of winning the Champions League. Huge amounts of money, so it limits it to 6 or 7 clubs. You know, if I'm him, I'm coming out tonight and saying, look, I want to win the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain. This is my club, and I want to get it done. If he don't come out and say that, and he leaves it out there for us to talk about it, then there is some truth in it. But we'll obviously see in the next 24 hours.
And then the last thing for me on this as well is that I don't think a football club should allow a player to have any type of power that they look bigger than the club.
No.
And at the moment, the narrative suggests that Kylian Mbappe is the bigger personality, the bigger powerhouse, the bigger power broker in that relationship. And that can't be right.
Separate from this, maybe that's the way that the game is going as a whole.
Yeah, maybe player power is strong. A lot of money in the game now. But I don't think any club... I think in terms of from a player's point of view, as a player, you should be respectful of your club. I'm not saying Kylian Mbappe isn't because we don't know the full details. But me personally, I was never bigger than the club. And I don't think that is the way any player should look at it.